Okay, we're letting a couple people get on in. Wonderful, wonderful. So I need to get like a countdown thing to get us all set up, but we are on live on Facebook. We're gonna get set up in just a moment. But I was biting my nails because I'm like, oh my gosh, is this gonna work this week? Last week we had a couple faux pas. And but out of the faux pas, I was able to get a YouTube station created, which was on my list from January. And God knew. He knew how to sit me down and make it happen. So I now have a YouTube station. And so I had on last week Sylvia Watkins, Lady Seal, with Be Beautiful. And we had a great time, not only on the air, but we had a great time off the air because it was a whole nother 2 hours before we even disconnected. And had so much to catch up on, but it was awesome. But we are 1 minute away from going live. 1 minute away from going live. Yes.
That is awesome.
And okay. You all have no idea. I do this like all the time. I'm so crazy nervous every time I do this. I don't know why, but I am. But I've learned to just be me and be authentic because even the mistakes end up being a blessing. So that's from Stephanie Davis all the way out in Taiwan.
They say there's never any mistakes. Everything is done with purpose.
That's right. Thank you for my encouragement. Okay, it is 6 o'clock p.m. and we are going to start in 5 seconds. Good evening, good evening. I'm hoping that everybody is doing well in their respective places. It is absolutely a joy to be with you. You are tuned in to Conversations in the Nick of Time, powered by Sparkman Pathway to Careers and KSTL 690 AM, headquartered here in St. Louis, Missouri. What's interesting is that a lot of people are saying, oh, what's going on with this format, this new format? Are you really on the air? Is it a podcast? Is it a vlog? What is it? And so let me just say all the above. I'm learning I don't have to choose, but to let you know, yes, I am still on the radio. KSTL 690, Linda Galloway, Hernandez, Union, and Pastor Kenneth Mcclellan, who's usually the team behind all the magic that you see happen. But I had to learn how to do this myself. And it has been a blessing, although I have cried along the way. But yes, my guests, all who come on, it is just amazing that everybody is still engaged, even though, honestly, I was going to tap out. But because of the love and the questions and the why nots and try this and the encouragement, like, here we go, let's go another round. And I'm just truly blessed to be going another round. But the guests, yes, are here live. We do a Facebook Live on Thursdays from 6 to 7, and then we play that audio in my still radio spot on KSTL 690 on Tuesdays from 1 to 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And so here we go. This is week 2 of this new format. I am just delighted to have in studio a sister who I had the opportunity of meeting several years ago when I was first launching events that I was hosting on my own, and didn't know what I was doing, but I was hosting these events for women of color. And I get a call at my job. Sister I had never met. Yes, it was Melody. And she says, I'm looking for Nicole Roach, Nikki Roach. And I said, this is she. She says, a friend of mine invited me to this event that you're supposed to be having, and I need to know what it is. Like, what is going on with this event and what can I expect? And so, yes, I looked at the phone like, who is this? And then she ends up explaining who she is. She was on a mission, though, and I just became a fan of her passion, her energy. And she honestly, we sat and we actually connected after that event, and that was almost 10 years ago.
Wow.
Almost 10 years ago that we crossed paths at an event that I hosted, and she ended up telling me her story, and then I ended up hosting a larger event at the Four Seasons in St. Louis, and she was like, I want to be one of your speakers. And I said, okay. And I mean, I had just put out a little Word document flyer. That's how green I was. And now, all these years later, almost 10 years later, Coach Melody, CEO of Unwrap You, an award-winning health and wellness expert, author, health contributor, and has been featured on multiple media outlets. She equips women, companies, and even a few men with knowledge and a blueprint to improve their mental and physical health. And when I tell you she is on a mission, she has a personal story that totally will cause you to understand where her passion comes from, but then the work that she puts in, and because she has a sisterhood, the AKAs behind her, you will get to really, really fall in love with her. Hi, Coach Melody. How are you?
Hey, Miss Nikki. You really put me out on blast, huh? Yes. How are you today?
I'm doing absolutely well. It has been a moment since we've had a chance to really connect and talk. And you have made so much progress over the last years. And I'm just excited. And here on Conversations on the Nick of Time, we focus on leadership excellence and accidents. And I just want to jump right in with you. And how have you been? I mean, we're talking about mental health, physical health in the middle of a pandemic. And you know, a lot of us are off, like off meaning we're off, our rhythm has changed. We've had to switch up a lot of things that we called norm. Yes. And you just personally as a coach, how have you, my word, how have you pivoted?
Yeah. Oh, yes, that is your word. Every time I hear it, it's so popular now. I'm like, that is Nikki's word. You're using the Four Seasons when it was fresh and new. But honestly, you really did nail it. It is a lot going on from a mental standpoint. Just think about it. Parents now have to work and they have to be the teacher. You have to be the cook. You never know what's going on with the money situation. Finances plays a part. Now you got to buy more groceries, pay more bills. It's a lot. And I have had the pleasure, I cannot honestly use the word pleasure through COVID. Not that I am a fan of the pandemic at all, but people are listening, Nikki, like they are truly, I am getting calls to Zoom. I'm getting calls to be, in corporations doing their wellness for employees and talking about things like boundaries, time management, making yourself a priority. I've added meditation. I did some meditation training in order to do, because we have to work with what's now. And one thing that I tell people all the time, we have to give ourselves grace, because we think we have to have it all together. And every day we have to wake up and feel good about this. Well, some days you really don't. You have to tap into that emotion, but don't stay there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, help us understand what you mean by grace. Give ourselves grace. I love the term. I understand the term, but I've learned to allow other people to unpack terms, because it's always new insight.
Well, and when I say grace, I mean, I tell, I really say, and I do everything that I'm telling you, you have to set a routine, because you hear people, oh, I didn't get up, I didn't comb my hair, I didn't get dressed, I didn't put my makeup on. You cannot function that way and keep yourself happy and in a good mood. You got to get up as normal as possible through this. And giving yourself grace means Some days you wake up and you just like, this, for example, I am so sick of COVID. I am over this. Like, I need to go hug someone, but you know, you cannot. So you kind of just deal with it and then give yourself grace to be in that mood for a little bit. So work out whatever way possible. For some people, you know, it's prayer, go into meditation, go for a walk, help to increase those endorphins. That's what I mean by the grace, meaning that this is where we are. This is what I am experiencing, but I am not getting ready to stay here because it's not doing anybody any good. And what helps me, and I tell people this all the time, the whole world is going through it. This is not unique to you. This is celebrities. These are, you know, people that are affluent, or all classes, all walks of life are impacted by this.
Yeah, and then you bring up a great point about routine. I know for a while I was in that category of, I'll chill. I'll naturally wake up, and it's still early, but not as early as I would if I were going to the office. But I began to switch that up, and I would actually get all the way dressed up. I mean, like a couple times evening wear. Like I dressed up and just pranced around the house. Because and then even like just to put on some lipstick, like I can't even wear lipstick now because we have on masks, so I put it on when I get home. If I have to go out and I come back. How important then is routine on us mentally? I know physically it makes a difference, but mentally, what is that doing for us?
Mentally, it is. For example, there are a few different compartments, and routines are great because they set you up. You already know. You get up in the morning, your body has a clock, a wake up clock. Even if it's been pushed up or back, like I still wake up at 5 o'clock. I do my prayer meditation, then I get up and I work out. I'm working out by 6 because I'm on a Zoom call by 7 or 8. That is my me time. Like everybody should have, everyone listening, you should have at least 30 minutes of me time. And the reason why is because it just helps you to get clear. You can build your day. You can relax. I love to watch the sunrise, so there are different reasons, but your routine is set. And then in the morning, that just jumpstarts everything. So I get on the call. People, how are you? Oh, I'm wonderful. I'm great.
I'll be like, what do you want? No, at 6 o'clock. Oh my God.
But that is my time. Like, my husband is completely opposite. He is not, we're night and day. And he's like, can you like take it down like 5 volumes for me? That is my time. But don't call me at 9 o'clock in the PM because I'm going down at that time. So having a routine is really important just for productivity, being able to balance. And another thing, the routine, even like people stopped at the beginning because we were all on Zoom and excited about this virtual. Now you see pictures of people, just kind of worn out, but you have to take your breaks out there. You cannot Zoom all through lunch. You still need a lunch. And that may mean just taking a quick walk up and down the street. Get some fresh.
But it's so hard because what's interesting is that those of us who are still operating through Zoom and what is it? The
Microsoft
Meets
Teams
and the Teams and all that different stuff. It is actually more challenging to actually stick to a schedule working from home.
Yeah. See, now for me, this is one thing with my clients that I take them through. You have to build a routine. And that even comes from meals and things that you're going to eat. Because a lot of times people go, oh, I forgot to eat. Oh, I forgot to exercise. You have to build your schedule. So I already know if I forget, let me look at my day and just kind of keep it very similar because you have the same type of schedule. That way you don't forget to eat, every 3 to 4 hours or what have you. You don't forget to take your walk, and you need a lunch because like staring at these screens, I am actually doing research right now on the effects of that because you have to think we're sitting for hours at a time.
And posture is wrong.
Posture is wrong. You have to get up and move. So when I'm doing my sessions now, I have the company, the employees all stand up and we stretch and move right there because mute your camera if you need to and get up for 5 minutes in order to get yourself stimulated. It's only so long that you can look at the screens and be productive because your eyes start crossing over.
Yeah. I noticed that even for me, like I literally wake up, but now I'm trying to not look at a screen for at least the first 30 minutes of the day. And then go into the day, like get myself going in my routine before I grab a device. But it is so hard. But one thing that I was instructed to do was take off a number of my notifications off of the phone. Okay. That way it's because we are instantly going to respond and react.
That's interesting. You know what I do? I turn my phone silent, and most of the time I turn it off. And the reason why
is that in the morning or in the evening?
Both.
Okay.
And I don't turn it back off. And the reason why is because when I first started, Zoom, I was doing these presentations around boundaries and time management. And I looked and I said, oh, I am such a victim of this. And I didn't even realize it. So what was happening, I would get up in the night to go for a restroom break or what have you. And then I would see messages and I would actually look at them and sometimes even respond. Well, that's a break in your sleep, which is a no-no. You want to lay back down because once you stimulate your brain, then it may take you a couple hours or a few hours to go to sleep. And so what I did is I had to start turning it off because if my brain knew there was nothing to see, it's the weirdest thing, but I tell people, you train your brain, you train your mind to do all that it needs to do. And I have no problems with it. I don't even look at it in the middle of the night anymore, unless I'm like in the middle of something and need a response that I fell asleep super early because I go to bed early. But yeah, you can do your notifications off, or you could just turn the phone off, or you can silence it.
Yeah, I just started using the do not disturb function.
Okay.
So at a certain time, it goes off unless you're one of the little favorites.
Okay.
But also, what is your insight on technology in the bedroom? I have instructions on that, but I want to hear from you.
I know that, and I'm just going to be realistic. They say the studies show, and I'm a studies girl. I'm from my pharma background has me always into studies and being able to validate whatever it is that I say. And studies show you should not, from a sleep perspective, you should not have devices in your room because it's about sleep hygiene, which that was one of the meds that I sold. And if you are doing too much to stimulate yourself, you will not have good sleep. Well, Nikki, right now, not everybody, a lot of us are suffering from sleep issues. And I
yes.
Because if you're waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, if you're not sleeping all night, if you're tossing and turning, those are sleep issues. So what I recommend, no, you don't bring your devices in your room. And anyway, when you get ready to go to bed, your computer for work should be in your office. Like you should have a door where you can physically shut the door. You're done with work. Don't enter into the office until the next day. That's what I do also. And
okay.
It does make a difference. Now, some people say, oh, no TV. The thing about a TV is kind of amusement for a lot of people, and it depends on if you're single, married, like the dynamics. But if you have a TV in the room, you are not supposed to have it on like all night. It does something to your brain signals, like someone is talking.
Interesting, really?
Yeah, they're moving. Like think about it. You're subliminally responding to things that are going on your television if it's with sound all night. And I have people that are coming to me like, Coach, I have to sleep with my TV on. No. We're going to change that because it's impeding on their sleep.
So for me, I need silence. I need darkness. There are some nights, listen, it could be a thunderstorm and I'm laying outside and I can still fall asleep. I'm that tired sometimes.
Yeah.
But yes, you are right in alignment with what I was advised. Even my cell phone, they said, find a table to put it on, not in the bedroom. Mm-hmm. And what's funny is I will find myself, oh, let me check this one last thing. And I'll run, I'll run over to the phone because I try to keep it outside of the room. I try to. Because I even bought a whole separate alarm. It's a sunrise alarm clock that plays the nature sound, and the sun eventually it rises and it lights up. So it is amazing. And I said, okay, let me try this instead of using my cell phone, because that's how I was depending on, but I need it. I need it in my room. I need it close to me. You will reach for that phone. I challenge everyone. Put your cell phone in another room, not your bedroom. Overnight, I'm telling you, you're going to feel like, what did I forget today? Or what did I lose? So you're right. And then that TV, oh my gosh. When we are still trying to we're still talking about being mentally well, which impacts our physical well-being. Because I am just a firm believer it all starts in the mind.
It does.
And once you get that going, it's just amazing how all of that begins to work together. But the sleep, also, I love that you brought that up, because a lot of healing in our body happens when we can actually rest. Mm-hmm. Because many of us are laying down, but we're not resting.
Right.
I believe.
And you are true. You're correct. And a lot of people don't even recognize the difference, because honestly, so many people have horrible sleep habits that they don't even know. And I'll tell them, when I come in and I'm working with an individual, I will say, we're going to work on, different areas. And sleep is always like, how is your sleep? I sleep horrible. I have people even sleeping better, because when you start moving, which is the exercise, the nutrition, you're not heavy, your body is being weighed down from all the weight of the carbohydrates, the processed foods, all the sugars, all the things that we don't need. It takes a lot longer for our body to process. And once they start, like, oh my coach, I'm actually sleeping 5.5 hours. Well, if you were at 3 and you're sleeping 5.5, 6, you are in heaven. And then you're able to recharge. Like, if people are not sleeping properly, Nikki, they are not recharging and they're not able to reset. So the next day, you are not operating at your capacity.
Yeah.
Because if you wake up, if you're tired, you're dragging, it takes you longer. I can get up and I am like a motor in the morning, but I sleep very well at night.
But you have a strict time frame in which you're operating that with that time management. I know for me, I function best like right around 10. Oh, I'm cranking it out. But even in the AM.
Oh, AM. Okay.
But in the evenings, right around between that 2 and that 9, I'm in a zone. Like, I have a flow that naturally comes, but it's like to come down off of that sometimes is not the easiest thing, because once that brain gets going, I have my little music playing softly in the background and room all lit up and I'm working. It's hard to break that, but that's, because they say we all have peak moments where we do the most of our creative work. So that's just, but that's interesting. But I agree that when I am rested, oh yeah, everything is different.
Everything is different. If you wake up and you're not rested, and you're right, your peak hours are 2 to 9. Only thing I say about that is not so good is it's a long time, but the lateness, because now you have to bring your body down.
Yeah.
A lot of times, if you're that energetic, getting that much work done, then you're probably eating later because you're up and moving.
Yes.
And so late night eating is heavy on you. So it's like a lot of processes. I love the fact that your timing. Maybe just try to move it up. I tell like, you want to start coming down from that. And I know entrepreneurs, and you have your show, there's a lot that goes through your head. So it's kind of hard, but you have to find those things that are subtle, that you can do, that you enjoy outside of the work, that'll calm you down. Like, for example, I love to color, and I also love to do
interesting
puzzles. Yes, I have some beautiful art. I feel is art, but it's not just in my coloring book. It is really nice and creative. I love to journal, so I can sit down and write. So things that take you out of the norm of what you feel like you want to do. You know, you like to read, or, you know, like all those activities that are mindless, play the piano, sing, you know, those type of things.
So this is great. I love this. Now, pretend now you are presenting just for a hot moment to a group, and you're wanting us to get up and stretch and move. What kind of things, walk us through what some of those moves would be.
Yeah, so okay. I'll say, okay, everybody stand up. So me and you will stand up. And then just kind of let's go side to side. First, start with your legs and move back and forth. Move with me, Nikki. Come on. Back and forth, side to side. Yeah. And then we just take our arms and we can do the same thing. We can, you know, punch them out, punch them up, punch them forward, punch them down. Okay. And then, you know, just kind of stretch your torso out. And I go through every body part. And then I have, it's fun. We just kind of touch our toes to the ceiling, toes to the ceiling. And then I actually do some things for balance, like hold both legs. So you do your left, your right. And that way you're able to stimulate. This may be like 5, no more than 7 minutes. Okay. And, you know, just go to the side. You do your cat raises and then shrugging those shoulders, because you know we carry a lot of stress.
You know what? I was at a workshop one time and the lady the presenter started the conversation and she says, "Hey, how you doing?" She introduced herself. And then she said, "Relax your shoulders." Mm-hmm. Who knew that our shoulders were like,
yep.
We were sitting there and everyone was like, "Oh my God, how did she know that?"
Because we are all we're all tight, like, and just like, you loosen up, you know, just loosen up. Yeah. I have, you know, the shrugging through the shoulders and then just being able to stretch out. Okay. It just feels so good. And everyone is always excited. If I'm doing a Zoom call, for example, it's an hour like you and I doing this. And hey, let's stand up. Let's move around. Let's get the blood flowing. They absolutely love it. Then you can take through meditation, because that's such a calming activity. Because if you have a lot going on in your head, you're not going to be able to really receive the meditation. And that's what happened to a lot of people. They think meditation is heavy and is deep, but it's not. It's just that you have to be in the right mindset.
But go ahead and walk us through, like, what is meditation and how do we do it?
So Nikki, you trying to get me to give out all of my secrets?
No. Now, I don't want you to give it all away, but it's kind of like paraphrase. Without giving away too much stuff, I just want people to understand that. Let's talk about benefits of it then. How about that?
Absolutely. I have the benefits of, oh my goodness, there are so many benefits to meditation. First of all, that just the calming that you get from it. The fact that you
keep going.
You get to sleep. So when you're doing meditation, help you to sleep better. And one great thing is you can do it before bed. It actually helps to relax your mind. And meditation is just good for a lot of different reasons. And it's easy. I always just say start with a couple minutes, because it's one of those things that if you are not used to it, if you haven't trained your mind to do it, it feels like it's forever when it's really not. So I really recommend that you start with 2 minutes. Some people like music, some don't. It just depends on how I'm feeling. I like them both ways, because you can do it in a car. You know, if you're a mom or a dad that are super busy and you don't have time at home, then you just do it in the car. When you get into your car, you don't have to answer your phone or all of your messages. Just take a couple minutes, cut the radio off, don't answer the phone. You can put on music, or you can just take deep breaths. And breathing, guys, is very important to meditation, because although everyone's like, I breathe, of course you do, but you have to come really deep from,
it's intentional,
down all the way up, and taking those really deep inhales and exhales is really very relaxing to do that. Sometimes and I'll use candles, not all the time, because it just, that aroma helps out. Eucalyptus, you can get lotion, you can do oils. Like I do a combination of everything. It is amazing. it can change your day, because what happens is if you're having a stress day and you're feeling like all in your feelings or upset, or a coworker, just family member, you meditate, it's like you just started a whole new day. And that's important to understand how to bring yourself back from those moods that we have, which is what we're experiencing with COVID also.
And thank you for indulging me to share that much. I just wanted to you to do that, because oftentimes we think when we hear meditation, it's still kind of new to some of us, and new meaning somewhat spooky, or that's for them, or I'm not into that. But it's really a great way to just recenter, to decompress. While it may be hard, I love the fact that you've given us limited amount of time, to where it's not that you need to sit in the floor for 30 minutes. No, even 2 minutes. And it doesn't mean you have to, I learned, you don't have to sit in the middle of the floor with your legs crossed saying, it is getting in the shower and standing in position and breathing intentionally, deep breathing, as you said, in the shower. Yes. And then you make a habit of it. That way it's just it's almost like a recentering, almost like a reset, like when we press on the computer, reset.
But you know what? And you said something that's really, and I tell people this when I'm doing presentations, I'm like, meditation feels very deep and heavy. And people always say that because it's spooky. You use that word, but it really is not. It is one of those great tools that's underutilized. And if you do it, I meditate all through the day. I can ride my bike in the morning and put on I love the heart music. There's a lot of different ones that I like. And just to hear it, it just calms you. It's a real good way to jumpstart your day. And you have to find those mechanisms. And for a lot of times, people don't even understand how to meditate. So that's where those sessions come in that are very helpful as well. But I love it now. And it's something, all of these are not who Coach Melody has been, everyone. So don't think I grew up like this. Honestly, I have learned so much through my wellness journey and also my own personal wellness journey. That's why I'm so passionate, Nikki, about it, because I was a person that wasn't a vegetable eater. I didn't have good nutrition. I have learned everything over fresh. And once I saw doctors giving out all those medications, I'm like, I have to be part of the solution. There has to be a better way. And even when I was talking to them, it's lifestyle change. It's better habits. And that's what people do not understand. Stress will kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, man, there is so much out there that is impeding on our health. You know, we have all this diabetes, blood pressure, cholesterol issues, obesity.
Yeah. And Black women, we are dying early from preventable diseases.
Yes. And they are, you named it preventable. And because I have people come to me all the time with, especially diabetes and high blood pressure. You can get off those meds, and they go to the doctor and come back. They're like, guess what doctor said? Yes, you can, but we're eating so bad that we don't even understand it. And my favorite one is, Coach Melody, I'm eating really healthy. Okay, give me a log. Let me have you do a diary of your eating habits. Like, really? They're like, oh, I thought it was. Just because it doesn't make it healthy. You know, just because you think that it's a vegetable, once you lay all the cheese and the gook on it, it's fairly healthy. So really, this is something that we as a culture have not really studied before. And I tell people, it's just like you went to school to get your master's and your PhD. You have to go to school and learn about your body and about nutrition. Like, it really is important. And if you can't go back to school, you get someone on board like me that can help teach you. And then you are in a better place. But it's preventable, everybody. Yes.
It is preventable.
Yes.
Those of you just tuning in, I see we have a number of people and a few comments and hellos on Facebook. Just want to thank each and every one of you. We're going to come around. So if you have questions, make sure you log those questions for Coach Melody, and we'll get to those in just a few. You are listening to Conversations in the Nick of Time, sponsored and powered by Sparkman Pathway to Careers and KSTL 690. I'm your host, Nikki Roach, and in studio or on air, all the airs, virtual airs and all, is Coach Melody, award-winning health and wellness expert, author, health contributor, right here in the region in the Midwest. And her services have expanded and just taken off into a whole new space despite the pandemic. And it's just such a timely time for us to have this conversation, considering that a lot of us have found ourselves shifting, whether we're working from home, as you mentioned earlier, teaching children, caring for parents, like everything, and then we're all under one roof and we're trying to figure it out. And it's just very, very interesting times, which have direct impact on our mental and physical well-being. You mentioned just a moment ago about your personal journey. If you could share with us just one turning point for yourself that you use in your lectures, that causes you to stay motivated.
You know what really helps me to stay motivated, when we were, able to move about as we wanted to, everywhere I go, people would be like, Coach Melody, I heard you, or because of you, I was inspired to do this. That is the greatest feeling. Like, I have had my walk in corporate America. I've had an opportunity to raise my children there in college, now we're graduated. And now I am doing something where I am making a difference in other people's lives. And this is a series. When I get down, a friend of mine the other day called, she's like, you know how you are changing lives? People are just, you put content out and people are like, thank you, I needed that. That's what it's about for me right now. That is really, and that is a moment that for me has been, it keeps driving me, because all these people, if it's not on social media or live or email, you never know even what we're seeing in this call today, who's going to be touched when they hear this on this Zoom call, or Tuesday when they hear it on the radio again, and how it's going to impact them, what changes they'll have. I was riding my bike yesterday morning and someone was on a HR, presentation that I had done. And she said, because of you, I'm walking right now. I made a goal and I'm sticking with it. I'm like, yes, that's awesome. So you never know how you're impacting people.
And I love that, because that helps feed our body to get going and operate in our calling. But then mentally, that creates excitement. And I don't have all the medical terms, but you know how it stimulates us to do more and to want to do more, because we're being recognized and celebrated, which is transferable to anybody in any industry. Understanding that the work, putting in the work, being consistent with the work, there are benefits that come along with that impacts us, again, mentally and physically.
Definitely.
Yeah. Now tell us a little bit more about this time management, and how to reset. Tell us just a little bit about that.
Well, time management and resetting, they are two different topics. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'll just go in very quickly, because when I sit down, I go into deep detail. Like if I do a presentation, it's time management or how to reset. Because again, when you talk about time management, I'm always telling people, especially women, and I'm going to pick on us ladies, only we like to do everything for everybody. And you do not know how often I hear, Coach, I can't walk for 30 minutes. Like, that is the bare minimum. The American Heart Association says 30 minutes at least of movement a day. And you have to be able to
30?
For yourself.
It's 30 minutes?
No, I'm sorry, 10,000 steps. But I'm telling people to take a 30-minute walk, because through natural movement, we are going to move more. Especially when we were working or going to the mall, you go to the store, you're in and out. But you have to have some consecutive movement as well. And so the time management is so that a person can really see what it is that they're doing. Or I wake up at this time, I don't want to get right out of bed. So that time is built in. I'm going to work from this time. You already know on your calendar how many calls you have, or Zoom calls, or appointments, or meetings, or where you have to go. So we program that all in. We program picking up our children or taking our parents to the doctor for those that are caregivers. You plan dinner time. Therefore, you have to plan your own personal time. And for women and men, for women, we're givers. We care for. That's what we do, oh, I'll call the doctor, or I'll take them there, or we want to do everything. You have to release some of that because it can end up being stressful. So time management just helps your day to flow better, everybody. Helps you to just be more calm. You don't have to be like, for me, I like to be early, and I see Nikki does too, because we both popped on 15 minutes early.
Oh, that was not my MO back in the day. Like, I mean, I would always be like in the nick of time, literally.
Oh.
Literally. However, I found the mental wellness component of getting somewhere to give myself a chance to take some deep breaths, a chance just to press pause for a moment, because I'm constantly going, constantly in meetings. Phone is still doing some face-to-face, but social distancing, Zoom. And so when it's constant, you never get a chance to press pause, and you don't realize how that impacts you mentally and physically.
It does.
So I've been doing the early.
Okay.
I try to do 10-ish early.
Like 10. But let me just tell you, you are correct. That's why I'm always early, because, for example, if something, you have a glitch and you can't get on quite the way you were supposed to, you're late. And there is something, that saying, if you're on time, you're late. Because when I'm, it just de-stresses me. You got to understand, if you're driving to a company and I'm in traffic and I only scheduled enough time, I'm going to be late. And I just don't like that. It's a part of professionalism for me as well. I'm just a time person. So that's funny that you said that, because I would have never, ever thought that you were just in the nick of time. Yeah.
Right. Literally. And so for me, I would always try to, and part of it was trying to get so much in a day.
Yeah.
And I've learned so I was introduced to time blocking a couple years ago, but I'm just now implementing it into my life. It sounds a little corny. It sounds a little rigid, but it's not about being rigid. It's about getting stuff done, because I'm over being busy, because busy just affects us physically, because you're not getting anything done when you're just busy. I'm productive. So my thing is, I have learned block out, just like today. I know what I'm doing on Thursday. I know that schedule. Yes, sometimes things shift and change. I'm open to that. But when you have several things going on, you have to make time. And I've learned that those leaders who are doing a lot of different things, who we would label as successful, which I think that, it's a loose term. They all have, as you said earlier, routine.
Yeah.
They all have routine. Oh. And they all time block. They even block in downtime. Now, I'm not doing downtime, but I know that there is a block of time where I will even try not to look at regular email unless I know I'm looking for something, because you can be in email all day.
You can, with the way that they come. And another thing,
which affects mental.
And think about this. I had started to now I'm not on Facebook all day, because I'm busy. Not busy, I'm productive. I'm that way. Like, I have things that I'm working on. But in the evening, I find that is like my socialization. So I do my own fan page. Like, I have all these social medias that I'm managing for Coach Melody, which means that's business. But when I have to get on and just talk about what I want to talk about, and just say, hey, how are you? Or what's going on? Or you could just send text messages just to let people know that you're thinking about them, that you care.
You are good about that.
How we ended up talking about this, I didn't even know. I just called and said, hey, I'm thinking about you, Nikki. How are you doing? What's going on? And you're like, I'm doing this new project. You never know, like, what blessing lies ahead. But for me, with the time block, it's a little bit different than time management, but the same theory, and except for you're just blocking the time. To me, it's a little bit looser than the whole, from hour to hour, managing your time, exactly what it is that you're going to do. But whatever works, time block, time management, I say go for it, because it really will help to de-stress you, because it's so much going on. And even trying to build time, like I started building in my lunch, like, no, I will not do any talks. Or
I need to do that.
yeah, you really do, because I was like, oh, no. So now I'm trying to really do like 12 to 1, because I get started so early, just to take some time to get a quick walk or some fresh air or sit outside or what have you, just relax.
So Joanne Martin, she says, "Hey Melody, I'm checking out the coach." And then she says, "Pressing pause is hard. What kind of advice would you give those who are still like, I know I need to do it for mental and physical wellness, but give us some advice."
Well, I would say, hi, Sarah Joanne. How are you? Yes. Well, I would honestly just say, I know that it is hard, but it can be done. And I say, step yourself into it. So if it's that difficult, instead of you taking a full hour, start with 15 minutes, start with 10 minutes. But you have to be intentional about getting started. Yeah. Because if you don't, then you'll just go through the whole rat race, because I am just totally amazed at how busy people still are in a pandemic. I'm like, really? Like, how are you this busy? Because you're supposed to be at home, like sheltering in place, staying at home. But a lot of people are still moving quite a bit within the home working environment. And it's important to, even bosses, if you start telling them what the expectations are, people are going to respect the time that you actually give. So for me, it's worked very well not doing lunch meetings unless I have to. Like if someone calls and say the only time I can Zoom, then I'll move my lunch back to 1.
But you still take advantage of the time.
Oh yes, I'm taking my lunch. I got to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta it's a way to refresh. And I tell you a little trick, everybody. When you take lunch and eat, don't text and on the phone and doing meetings. Just take some time to really look at your plate and enjoy your food. Even if that's just for 15 minutes, just do nothing else. And it's really refreshing.
Wow. And this is something that I am not disciplined in. Mm-hmm. Stopping to take lunch, which again, back to making healthy choices and choices that help with wellness. I know that it's not good in so many different ways, but it also shows up when I am trying to do my best, whether it's a project, whether it's a presentation. It's like you can't, if you're driving a car and it's on E, it does what? It stops, right? So it's this, I know the drill. It's just building in the time. And as you said, just even if it's 15 minutes, but an undistracted 15 minutes is what I'm hearing.
Yes, because think about it, lunch does not have to be an hour. I'm not telling you I take a whole hour. Mm-hmm. You can take 15, 30 minutes, and it really does make a difference. And I use that analogy all the time. I tell clients, I'm like, think about this. You're eating for nourishment. You're eating to fuel your body. But Nikki, we eat from emotions. We eat when we're happy, sad, celebrating, when we are just like anything that we do. Hey girl, let's go eat. Want to go eat? Want to go eat? And the same thing, we're putting the wrong things in there. And so your car is on E, you got to fill it up. Your same thing with your body. You have to fill your body up. And there are 4 areas that I tell people to concentrate on. You're talking about exercise, your meals, you're talking about sleep. And then even having that time, that self-care time for you is really important.
Yeah.
A lot of
I know.
Tips, so.
I mean, that is such great information. Just gonna go through Taylor Johnson. Hi, how you doing? She's saying hello. Miss Keisha Kent is saying hello. She needs some deets on a pic. We'll talk offline. Laren, she is also feeling the need to put on lipstick every now and then, and she's missing wearing her clothes and dressing up. Didn't realize the difference that getting dressed up for work really played on your mental state and capacity. Stephanie Davis out in Taiwan, over in Taiwan, I guess. Karen Nicole, how are you, cousin? She says she's tuned in. Vicky, how are you? Vicky Elaine, Lynn Taylor out in Chicago, how are you? Dr. Emma Campbell Cornelius, she says, hello, Melanie, great job.
Hey,
Manisha Ford Thomas, hey, my new co-worker, who is the amazing over at SLU. Yes, I just plugged SLU. Dell Watson, Two Major for you down at Central Baptist. Co-pastor Joanne Nelson, she is watching. And Son Den Crow, that's my sister down in Dallas, Texas. She says, now is a good time to consider our friends and neighbors' mental health and being intentional to check on them. When they say they are depressed, believe them.
Yes. Let me just say, we talked about that at the beginning of the first part of this.
Yes.
Tell you that really is important. Remember, I told you to take the grace to, if you're feeling that way, but also you have to let people know how you're feeling, because no one can read your mind. You can't read through the screen, through the phone, and we need to talk through some of this sometime. And I know that, you know, if I feel that way, I know you don't have to call the same person. We know a lot of people, so you don't have to worry about, you know, bothering the same person. You can call someone different and just, hey, I'm not feeling my best. You know, let me get some prayer in, or let's talk about something else, or a good movie, or what have you. You just can't let it beat you down. And I love, you got somebody from Taiwan. That's really cool, because I have a couple people from different countries that are going to be in 3K on September 12th. So I'm just like,
great segue. Let's talk about it. What's the 3K?
And I wasn't trying to segue. I just was thinking, this is so cool. We think like it was a blessing in disguise. In the beginning, you said you were going to, I think you were kind of rethinking doing this and you got motivation. Same thing, Nikki, happened to me with my 3K. It's the 4th annual this year. It's something that I really, it was a God-given, like one of those things that was a blessing to the community, because my goal was to get people to walk and move, because September is Childhood Obesity Month. So September 12th is my 3K walk. I was going to say, forget it. We're in a pandemic. No one is getting ready to come out and walk in a 3K. And then we had like vendors and people out, like a DJ, the whole nine. And just kind of worked through it and ended up doing the Fam Fun 3K. I kind of changed it around, which I was supposed to do in year 5. But it's really fun. It's virtual. Everyone can walk on their own from home, in the park, what have you. But it's on September 12th. And I've created an events page. And how I know where people are from is because you go to the events page and click going, and then they're telling me, like, so my goal, only thing I want them to do is take a photo and then pop it in the group on 3K day. And then I'm going to kind of populate that. And I have people from Prague. Someone else called, she's like, I'm in Australia. I said, you know, you can walk from home, so you can do that from Australia. She said, oh, cool, I'm going to join in. And so all over the United States. That's one great thing about this Zoom and virtual. Would you agree?
I agree. I'm telling you, initially, I'm sure I'm not the only one. The mental capacity that we've had to tap into, because you don't even realize how you don't use certain parts of your brain and your thinking capacity, because we are such creatures of habit.
Yes.
But to have to shift and go outside and want to think to do, and then have the will to do something other than what we've been doing. Yeah. For me anyway, it has been a shift. And it's just amazing how we can get to this point and touch people anywhere in the world. That's so it was blessing that came out of the situation. And now we're able to do a 3K walk, and we can walk right here in our own respective places, but share the journey. I love it.
And you know, it has been that part of this whole pivot, because I have a business coach and she always says, like, every time I talk to you, coming up with a different idea, this is a time where you have to move, like pivot. Yeah. That is Nikki's word, but you pivot right now, because you can't stay in the same place too long. And even being out on social media, I have events. I'm speaking in DC. I am speaking in, just got a call from Michigan, Chicago. Like, I am all over. Guess You don't have to do it just here. At first, I would have to get on a plane and fly to California.
Yes.
Presentation in California. I have a partner now in California where we do leading a healthy workplace. Whitney, we get together and we do these talks, and then we can go and do projects, and all virtual. I'm like, this is amazing.
But can you imagine the opportunities that you would not have had?
Yes.
So this is, and I love when you say you have to rethink, reshape what it is that was the norm to not get stuck. Because just because it was the way we used to do it doesn't mean we stop. And I think your story that you've shared about your progress, and as you said, the pleasure and the blessings that have come out of this whole season has positioned you for greatness. But my gosh, talk about timing.
Yeah.
We need what you have.
But you know what?
So many ways.
But this is the really funny part. When this COVID first happened, and it took me, I was in numb for 3-4 weeks because I lost all of my contracts. I'm just going to be honest. And I was like,
ditto. I lost, yeah.
Yeah, so I started looking at the Essence Festival was that week. It was a lot of things that changed very quickly. I was like, I can do that. And I started just it was like, put out the content. And people actually tag me on so much now because they actually see me in this space. But it's not because they see me now. They've been seeing me since 2014 doing this. So it's like, oh, Coach Melody. And that's how I got the gig in Michigan. 3 people saw it, put my name on it, and they were like, wow, this is pretty cool. So you close mouth, don't get fed. That's one of my little sayings, close mouth, don't get fed. And just like I came up to you, Nikki, we've been talking ever since, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I love it. Again, mindset. All of this starts with mindset, and then the physical wellness. Because I think, again, as I mentioned earlier, once we get this mind positioned to operate in the proper way, in healthier ways, the rest of our body just falls in alignment. I just truly think, truly believe that. Now you have the event coming up September 12th, the 3K day, which is a virtual opportunity for us to get fit and to walk together. So we'll post more information on how people can find you on that, but where can they find you?
People, you can go out to the LinkedIn as Coach Melody, also on Instagram or right here on Facebook. And also the Fam Fun 3K Walk, you can find it just by going to the events and searching, and it says Fam Fun 3K. And that's simple. And
what platform is that? Which platform is that?
It's on Facebook. So it's a Facebook event. So that's the only way in which to kind of join in that way. But I really encourage everyone. This is a fam fun. So I want mom, dad, cousin, like everyone can go out. You can walk as long as you want, but make it fun. I have organizations, Nikki saying they're going to Zoom and they're going to do a whole organization. Okay, I'll just say the AKAs, I've had many of them in some other Divine Nine group. And that is going to be really nice. So you can kind of rep where you're from DC, from, Chicago. And
I love it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I encourage everyone, we are here to impart wisdom, but also know it is not just so simple. And if it's not, then that's when my call to action is just to, get a hold of me. And even if it's not me, someone else, because this is just something that's so new and fresh that people don't understand, like how to deal with it. And once you get that clarity and get goals set and really come up with a plan, it's amazing. And just like when I talk to you, this journal has been a godsend for everyone. You can put everything in here.
Yes.
It's a workbook. It's about health tips and really helping people go through. So I encourage you all to get a hold of me or someone, and it's Coach Melody, and the website is unwrapu.com.
Yes, unwrapu.com, and we'll post that as well. You are already tagged in the post on social media, and I know they can find you there. She responds very quickly to when you reach out.
Yes.
Coach Melody, this has been a joy. I am so delighted that you could join us. I usually ask a question at the end, but you already, hey, we are so in sync. You already answered it with your call to action. Get in touch. We talking about living with self as a priority. And the way you do that is with mental wellness and then physical wellness. And Coach Melody, we thank you for sharing your journey and your story and how you have shifted yourself personally. I love the fact that you have walked the walk. It is not just something that you are claiming through mouth, but no, you have walked this walk, and those, once you bring her on board or sign up for a private consultation, you will get to see an inside front row seat of how it is that she unpacks her own journey to make sure that you understand she knows all those emotions mentally and physically that you can go through to get to where you're trying to be, which is healthy from the inside out. So thank you.
Thank you, Nikki, for having me. It is always a pleasure to impart wisdom. You're an amazing woman. So much you on in your new project, and I look forward to seeing your growth as well. So thanks again for having me.
Thank you. And to all of you listening or watching now these days, we thank you so much for lending us your ear and your time. You could be doing anything else, but I'm grateful that you decided to stop and be with us. I'm your host, Nikki Roach. You have just encountered another conversation in the nick of time. Again, powered by Sparkman Pathway to Careers and KSTL 690. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to tell a friend. And hey, who knows who will be with us next time? Stay tuned. In the meantime, don't forget that you already have everything you need to be successful. Just tap into it. Go and be blessed. Bye-bye.